Sometimes, we all have that spontaneous urge to watch a bloody or gruesome movie, and I'm almost sure it's human nature. Now, if you're having that craving right now, and you're after something realistic with a hint of history, here are our picks for the best modern military films of all time. Before we get started, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Number 11. Zero Dark 30. This film is based on the end of a decade-long hunt, the finding and the killing of Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden in 2011.
No birth certificate, no cell phone, you guys a ghost.
A nighttime strike, all thanks to the instrumental work of a female operative. Although controversial in its depiction of torture, this is a must-watch documentary on how the world's previously most wanted man was tracked and killed in his compound. Not to mention, it really gives off empowered woman vibes. Jessica Chastain was great in the film.
You don't think she's a little young for the hard stuff?
Washington says she's a killer.
The film did very well, grossing $95.7 million in the US alone. The critics have given mostly praise. If you're looking for a war film that is suspenseful, thrilling, and overall a cinematic masterpiece with a badass female protagonist, then Zero Dark 30 is your film. Number 10. 12 Strong. 12 Strong is based on the real brave soldiers of OTA 595, who fought in the War of Afghanistan. It starts when U.S. Captain Mitch Nelson moves into his new home with his family, and he receives a new assignment for staff duty. At this time, terrorist attacks have been reported from national television, and Nelson feels the responsibility weighs on his shoulders and volunteers to lead the troops to Afghanistan. Upon arrival of this task, he leads 595 alongside veteran soldier.
We're fighting with horsemen against tanks.
The greatest weapon in history is this.
And after 23 days of continuous warfare, Nelson guides the 12 soldiers of OTA 595 safely back to their hometown. Number 9.
3, 2, 1. All clear!
Target secure!
Act of Valor. This setting is in the quaint country, the Philippines, where the U.S. ambassador gets assassinated. The Act of Valor takes viewers into the secretive world of elite military specialists who rescues a kidnapped CIA operative and discovers a massive terrorist plot against the United States, turning their rescue into a global manhunt to save thousands of lives. The SEALs once again end up being our heroes, and it perfectly blends heroism and patriotism into a movie worth watching. The most interesting part is that some real Navy SEALs were cast in this award-winning film, an incredible tribute to the SEALs that sacrificed their lives fighting anarchists on 9/11. Number 8. Jarhead.
Do you have what it takes to be the meanest, the baddest in God's cruel kingdom? Yes, Sergeant!
Jarhead is a film adaptation of Anthony Swarford's memoir of the First Gulf War. It's a deglamorized depiction of the genuine sadistic harm and tribulations that Marines confront. The worn-out men are stranded in the midst of a 112-degree desert, where they pass the time by training, masturbating, sleeping, and visibly fighting signs of weakness to get through, and emotionally preparing themselves for losing thousands of comrades. But just when they're done with their preparatory measures, the Iraqis decide to concede. Don't get me wrong, you and I would absolutely be relieved for an overturned war, but not these soldiers. The game plan since day one was train, then fight to win. That's all they held on to. So their frustrations for the called-off war are understandably valid. Finally, we watch these soldiers lease many lifestyles, from ready-to-die Marines to businessmen, drunkards, and most importantly, everyday folks enjoying one more day. The movie We Were Soldiers is an excellent, well-crafted film. It was respectful to the Vietnamese and provided a holistic approach to the subject rather than a myopic one. Vietnamese troops, a place that would later be called the Valley of Death. The film explores the nobility of the outnumbered soldiers in the battle that marks the beginning of the Vietnam War. The film stars Mel Gibson, Madeline Stowe, and Greg Kinnear, and nominations. Number 6. The Hurt Locker. This is a gripping tale about a bomb disposal squad in Iraq, led by a certain Sergeant Williams, who experiences such a high when doing his job that it leads to him being reckless and wild, much to the worry of his team members who merely want to survive the few days of duty they have left. One interesting note about the movie is that it was actually written by journalist Mark Boal, based on his experience with the bomb squad in Iraq, so the movie is as real as it gets. Furthermore, the director Catherine Bigelow purposely casted lesser-known actors to further the feel of realism in the film. Number 5. Lone Survivor. This 2013 film follows the mission of 4 Navy SEALs to capture the notorious Taliban leader Ahmad Shah, when they were spotted by 3 goat herds. Faced by a dilemma between choosing to free these goat herds who may be Taliban sympathizers, or potentially killing innocent civilians, their choice led to a gunfight in which only one member survived to tell the tale. One of the Navy SEALs himself, Marcus Luttrell, narrated the true story of how this all happened, that only heightened the magic of it all even more. Number 4. Fury. Hollywood has always had a reputation of either being very accurate to its history or wildly inaccurate. The majority of war movies depend on the usage of conveying gruesome battles, but David Ayer's 2014 film Fury shows us an entirely different perspective.
How many?
300 of them. There's 5 against 300.
This action-packed movie stars Brad Pitt as Sergeant Don, Lord Eddie Collier, Shia LaBeouf as Boyd Swan, and John Bernthal as Grady Travis, Michael Pena as Trini Garcia, and Logan Learman as Norman Ellison. The movie tells the story of an army sergeant called War Daddy and his 5-man crew carrying out a deadly mission into the heart of Nazi Germany. With odds overwhelmingly not in their favor, the platoon has to fight their way into survival, even when they're outnumbered, outgunned, and outskilled.
We never run before, why are we gonna run now?
We're still in this fight. Still in this fight.
Number 3. Black Hawk Down. Black Hawk Down is a 2001 American war film based on Mark Bowden's 1999 book of the same name, directed by Ridley Scott. It starred Josh Hartnett and Ewan McGregor. The film documents the 1993 raid in Mogadishu by US military forces that led to a fierce firefight and eventual battle between themselves and Somali militia groups, which became known as Black Hawk Down.
This is our war, not yours.
300,000 dead and counting.
Soldiers' efforts helped establish stability for UN humanitarian operations there, but they were unable to capture warlord Mohammed Farah Aidid. Hans Zimmer's music adds to the intensity of this film. I like how they presented military technology in it, and it's a must-see for war drama and action movie fans. Number 2. Hacksaw Ridge. Another inspiring true story that revolves around medic Desmond Does, who vowed not to kill anyone nor to carry any weapon, a heroic decision that can be viewed as stubborn in the middle of the bloodiest World War II battles. He saved 75 men in Okinawa, and later becomes the first man in American history to receive the Medal of Honor without ever firing a single shot. The epic war drama directed by Mel Gibson, with Andrew Garfield as the main lead, easily considered one of the greatest war movies ever made. Number 1. Band of Brothers. Band of Brothers, a 10-episode 2001 American military historical drama, narrates the story of soldiers' exploits during World War II, from beginning to end. It demonstrates how they struggled to establish connections, since they're required in several different locations, as well as the 85-point system needed to go home. Major Richard Winters develops a bond with his comrades, and is determined to keep them safe. But as expected, you can't keep everyone safe on the battlefield. The series highlights the tragic truth of common deaths and crippling injuries, and even some soldiers' despair when they recover from therapy. But most of all, it shows us the mentally and physically strong men who stand by their morals and their fight for each other's survival. That's it, guys. If you like this video, kindly give it a thumbs up and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.